No. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us for this very special event. We have titled it HR Virtual Talent Pitch. What's the intention of this program? The intent of this program is to give HR professionals at various levels in their career development to showcase their candidacy. In other words, they are going to, in 5 to 7 minutes, sell themselves to us. I know that on this call today, and people who have access to this recording, we have recruiters, we also have HR directors. If you need any HR practitioner and you are pressed for time, you can just watch this session and you will see the presentation of each candidate. Their last slide will be their contact details, email, phone number, and LinkedIn, and you can reach out to them directly. Prior to now, we are allowed people who had interest in this program to indicate interest, and they had developed their slides, and we advise that each slide should be 5 pages, just for brevity. The structure of the program is the participants will pitch for between 5 to 7 minutes, after which our panelists, our evaluators will provide feedback or ask questions. Our panelists for today include Rita Babalola, who is a seasoned HR practitioner and consultant. We also have Ezine Obiora, who is also a senior C-level leadership HR director. We also have Victor Agu, who is also a very seasoned professional. Of course, I'm also here to serve as an evaluator. Depending on the context or situation, some or one or all of us may provide feedback. We also are aware that we have very senior members of the HR community on this call. Please feel free, as each contestant is, pitching, drop comments for them in the chat box. If you want to say something, indicate, raise your hands, we'll recognize you, and in like 30 seconds, you please make your contribution, because we need to end this session right on time. My name, once again, is Oluyemi Adeosun, and I'm glad to be the convener of HR mentorship, and to also have very beautiful people supporting this particular session. I also like to recognize very quickly, in particular, I'd like to recognize Dayo Adebayo, who is one of the core team members in HR mentorship and one of the core planning committee member, from the conceptualization to the execution of this HR virtual talent pitch. She's joining us all the way from United States of America. Thank you so much, Dayo Adebayo. Of course, if she has any comments, she will chime in as the case may be. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we'd like to present to you our first candidate, Omotola Adano. You have the floor. Over to you, my sister.
All right. Good evening, everyone. So honored to be here, and thank you for this privilege of the panelists. Really appreciate. So, my name is Omotola Adano. I am a certified human resources professional with a MBA in human resources management. I specialize on talent acquisition and management, people's operations, and culture. I focus on building high-performing team and building a sustainable workplace culture. Over the years, I've worked in both service organization and manufacturing industries. I started my career with HR with VP Industries Limited as HR and admin officer, then moved on to Beach TV, an advertising agency, although it's a startup, as HRBP. Then in 2022, I joined Evans Industries Limited, where I'm currently working. I handle the talent acquisition, recruitment processes, learning and development, adapting to training needs analysis, training plan, and also implementation. I also work hand in hand with ITF to ensure that we work according to we comply according to their regulatories and guides. And also with that, we've been able to get our claims back, reimbursement claims of over 50% reimbursement claim from ITF. Then also performance management using KPIs. When I joined, was nothing like KPIs. We have to set it for them. So I have to meet the HODs one-on-one, set the KPIs for each department. And with that, we've been able to gradually upgrade the KPIs by updating it every day, reviewing each performance of the staff, of the employees, and ensure that we're able to measure it, and with that we're able to reward our performance. Then also, currently we use HR. I use HRS. I use Microsoft Dynamics 365. So with that, we've been able to do all the HR operations like managing the leave management, payroll management, bonuses, and what have you. And also, we've been able to introduce some employees engagement initiatives, which has really helped the company in terms of employees engagement and satisfaction. We've been able to introduce things we call like Trivia's Friday, team bonding, knowledge sharing sections, monthly newsletters, and the rest. And also, we've been able to also do some key interventions. Like, for instance, we have issues in warehouse or customer complaints from the customer service. With that initiative, we've been able to reduce those errors by through trainings, coaching, and also constant feedback, monitoring each processes. Then also, my key achievement is number one is reducing time to fill. At least we've been able to expand our workforce at Evans Industries by over 20%, because right now what we usually initially have was soap production. Now we have the lotion section, we have the dishwashing section. So we've been able to expand the workforce. Then also improve team productivity by 15%. The record of absenteeism has drastically reduced. So with that, we also been able to retain key staff in the company. Then also when I joined, I had to create a database for them, using the Excel, and also creating the dashboard, HR dashboard, using Power BI in order to make key decision and ensure that all our decision is data driven. Then also successfully executed the ITF compliance training programs and securing 50% of our reimbursement, and also getting ROI on investment. Then also ensuring that we comply with all the regulatory bodies like the LASEPA, the NESRA, and also the expatriate management. Okay, my key competency, number one is ability to manage HRIS. Like, for instance, now we use the Dynamic 365, payroll, leave management, pay slips, bonuses, employees record. I can do all that through HRIS, that's Dynamic 365. Then also managing employees through the employee life cycle management, like the onboarding from workforce planning to recruitment to selection processes, talent, so training and development, promotion, and exit management. Also, change management, like for you to make any change in anything, you need people, you need the key leaders, you need the key people in there to buy the idea, then you can now spread it forward. Then the problem I can solve, number one is time to fill, improve talent acquisition and efficiency, like recruiting the right candidates for the right role. Then also ensuring that attrition rate is reduced by using retention strategies that can, such as motivating the employees and other employee engagement programs. Then creating policy that aligns with the company's organization and improving employee engagement. Then also expatriate management. Then the tools I can use are Excel, HRIS, Asana, Trello, Zoom, and Slack. Then why you should hire me? You should hire me because I have a proven hands-on experience across both manufacturing and service organization, both on-site and remote, with a measurable impact. As an HR executive at Evans Industries, I have driven end-to-end HR operations successfully, strengthening talent acquisition, introducing KPIs-based performance management, and learning and development with notable impacts. Also, I was able to achieve over 45% of ICF reimbursement claim. I also leverage on building on HR analytics for decision making, like building the staff database both for the casual staff and the full-time staff. With the HR database, we've been able to make decisions. For instance, wherever we are having, let's say, ISO audits, it was easy for us with that database. Then what sets me apart is my ability to align HR strategies with business goals and communicate effectively across all levels, fostering collaborations across all departments to deliver long-term value.
Thank you, Omotola.
Yes.
Thank you. I mean, you were able, I think, I would like to think that you finished because you paused, right? You were able to contain it within the time frame. Well done. First of all, you're the leader of the pack. It's not easy to be the one to be the first, right? But you went through it well. So thank you for keeping to time. I did make a few notes about, on your presentation. I'll first of all like to start from branding, and I think it's something that is common amongst most of the pitches or decks that I saw. It might seem minute, but I don't know about others. It counts for me when I look at people's profiles, because this is something you would also put in your CV. Your LinkedIn hyperlink. For me, it looks tacky when I see, the www.linkedin.com/your name with the numbers. You can actually edit it to make it, just your name, at the end, at the after the /, you can just do Omotola Adano. You can change it. So just take note of that. That's one. I also noticed that when you were presenting, there was a lot of we. Remember, you're pitching yourself. So as much as possible, I think it's something that is very common with some of us. We tend to think of ourselves as a team, but the truth of the matter is that you're pitching yourself. So, we're interested to hear about what you did. Yes, you mixed and matched. There were some parts you talked about, the ones you took charge of, and that's fine. And even if there were other things that you were a part of the team, that's okay. But, it's yourself you're pitching. So, concentrate more on, the things you have done, the things your strengths are, and all that. Another thing I noticed was metrics. Let's also be careful when we mention metrics, when we're pitching ourselves or having interviews. I remember I read something where someone said people were saying I did this by 50%. By the time they were probed, you're pitching now, but what if you have an interview and somebody asks you, okay, you said you reduced this by 50%. How did you do it? So you must make sure that you can support your metrics that you're doing. And you're going to give a step-by-step breakdown of how you're able to arrive at those numbers that you put there, right? Yeah, and then one more thing before I go off. It also felt at some point that you were reading off, it was like, how can I, I would want it to be more of a narrative than like you're reading off your slides. I'm not saying you did it all the time, but at some points you did. But overall, you did a great job. You started first, you were well within the time, and you were able to take us through your slides. And at least we had, an insight as to what you have done, what your experience is, and how, what makes you a valuable member of the team or a valuable add to any team that you're in. So well done for that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Over to you, Victor.
Okay. Well done, Omotola. What I would just add to everything that Izine has said, which is spot on, is the fact that you should try to create context, create the actions you took and results. So whenever you are speaking about the things that you've done and all, what is the context? What was your action? I don't want to reinvent what she has said, but I mean personal action and what were the results? So these are things people want to hear results all the time, trust me. Thank you. Just to add that, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you so much. Rita
Yes.
Babalola, any quick comments?
Thank you so much, Omotola. I mean, being the first one, just like what Ezene said, is not so easy. And you have to carry on the cross right now for that. So I'm going to assess you on the following point: aesthetic, competence and skill. I'm going to also assess you on delivery and presence. And then the last one, the confidence index. Okay, on aesthetic, yeah, it was quite, the visual is okay. You did very well. You use colors and white. You can never go wrong with a white color. And that is what professionals should always tend to use, which you've done. So I give you maybe like a 7/10 for that. That's excellent. In terms of competence and skill, I saw you were too full, too broad, too wide. And I'm asking myself, what position are you aiming for? What is it that you want the recruiters to remember you by? You must not forget that. I struggle to know what position you're applying for. I'm a recruiter. At the end of the day, I have to ask myself, what role are you looking out for? HR business partner, HR generalist, HR analyst. You just have to state it. Those are the things that people will always remember you by. And then when you are also leaving, there's always that first line and the last line. Remember, Rita Babalola, I am your HR business partner aiming to work in so. So even if I forget, that last line would never leave me. Then in terms of what Victor said as context, yeah, and I think Ezine mentioned, which is the storytelling. It is more about your personal achievement, not the we part that you kept on mentioning. So this gives me room to start doubting what you really did. If you were a member of the team, somebody must have been the lead. So you were just a supporter, and that showed in the way you were giving the storytelling. So remember, when you're also doing storytelling, even for others, there must be a problem, there must be a solution, and then there must be a result. What is the problem? Try to highlight it. What did you do? And then the result. In terms of confidence index, yeah, I'll give you 6/10. You're trying, but then your hands, you don't gesticulate so much, so well that it's covering my face. You kept on like coming up. So I think for now, those are the things that I want you to work on. Let's know what you want in terms of your future, your skills. Make it marketable so that people will always remember you. And the last line. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rita
Thank you
Babalola.
so much.
Thank you, Omotola Adano. You may please stop sharing your slide. We would now like to call on the next candidate to please call up our slides. Esther Taiwo, please call up your slide. While we wait for her to do that, just to thank everyone for joining this live session. And the concept again is for candidates who have showed their interest to pitch. So you are free to, one, recruit any of these candidates after now. Two, if you have comments, feedback, suggestions, area of improvements, commendation, feel free to drop in the chat box. If you have any compelling comments, you can also raise your hands and we may call on you to share. All right. Again, we're happy to do this. Feel free to also send private messages through Zoom, direct messages to any of our candidates. We would like the second presenter to please put our slides on full screen. While I'm waiting for her to do that, let me recognize a few people again. I'll be recognizing as we see. I see on this call one of the core team members, Irene Obagu. Thank you. Also one of the core planning member for this program and event. Thank you so much. I see Titi Lokwe Kolade Yola, one of the core team members and also one of the chief promoters. Thank you so much. Tochukwu Ume, one of the core planning members. Thank you so much for joining this session. I'll keep recognizing from time to time as fillers. You may please go to the cover page And please, your time starts now. Esther, your time starts now.
Okay.
Just a moment, let me. Good evening, everyone. It is my pleasure to be in this awesome program today. Thank you so much. My name is Esther Nwagboso. I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, a member of Nigeria Institute of Management, a fellow of Chartered Institute of Human Resources and Strategic Management, a student of University of Lagos. That is the program that relates to employment relations and human resources. I have 15 years and more in banking industry. But the passion I have for dealing with people, for motivating and impacting them, led me to do a career switch, of which I'm glad to be among you, learning how to do it better. And my area of interest is in recruitment, training and development, learning and development, employee relations, impacting and helping others grow and having a passion for the journey, for the organizational goal and objective. That is really my interest. Now, when we talk about work experience, my work experience, starting from the latest, is as the Chief Operating Officer of Adano Frontiers Limited, which comes to bear in 2018 when the organization was brought to birth, when it was established. As the Chief Operating Officer, I had the opportunity of looking into the risk and process management and optimizing it for the organization with the goal and objective of the organization in the front burner. I have also helped in ensuring that the organization make a good impact of growth within the space of just a month after coming on board. And when it comes to other experience before then, like I mentioned that I was a banker. I worked with First Bank for more than 15 years and some other organizations like FSB International, United Bank of Africa, which for the purpose of the length of this slide are not stated here. But then focusing on my last place of employment before I left the bank, I was with Lawansing branch of First Bank, where I worked as the relationship manager. Thereby, I onboard new customers and ensure a cordial relationship with the bank, while the bank standards are also yet adhered to, and being sure that all customers are satisfied with the product and the relationship that they enjoy. Now, after leaving, before leaving Lawansing, I was with Aguda branch, and Aguda branch happened to have a quick service point. I was the one that championed the quick service point between 2012 and 2013. And there, I have the privilege of coordinating all the affairs of the human resources management, human resource, and also ensure that it's synchronized with the aim and objective of the bank. With this, as this managerial role of coordination of activities in in that branch, I was opportune to also attend so many courses, managerial courses, that assisted me to do that with smoothly. Now, coming to my achievements at Adano Frontiers, starting from the scratch in 2018, the first thing, or one of the things I did when I assumed the position, is to design a program called How May We Serve You? With this, we did a courtesy call to some of the blue chip organizations, because the organization, Adano Frontiers, is into logistics and procurement. So as we go to them with this initiative, we were able to hear from them to know what really they want, or what can we do for them? How do we serve them? With that, we were able to onboard 20 clients in 1 month that are performing well and helping the organization to achieve its profitability and ensuring that they have a good relationship with those organizations. Now, another achievement was that I introduced a 15 minutes pep talk to staff in my branch, in the quick service point. I did that twice a week to ensure that they are motivated, they are supported. If they have any pain points, if they have anything they need to share with us, their as discomforting or anything at all that is affecting the delivery of the job, I look into it within the 15 minutes before we open to our customers. Doing that twice a week, we were able to help to pump up the spirit of the staff. And in 2013 performance appraisal, we were able to get 30% improvement of our staff of the branch in performance as vis-a-vis what was recorded in a year before. Now, coming to the fact that I mentioned that I'm into a program in University of Lagos, Employment Relations and Human Resource Management in master's level. I've also spearheaded the creation of self-help tutorial for full-time and part-time students of that program to ensure that aside of the lecturer's effort, this self-help will help the STEM students.
I would have to say thank you very much, Esther. Time is up. Time is up.
Please give her 1 minute to wrap up and get to, so that she can also show our page, our contact page, please.
Okay, thank you. 60 seconds.
All right, thank you. Now, we've talked about the education and certification.
You can just go to the last page. Yeah.
The last page is my phone number, 08087183606, and
So
my
why
email.
should we hire you? Why should you hire you in 30 seconds?
I am a good team leader, and I speak to diverse workforce. I speak 3 of the Nigerian languages, Yoruba, English, and Igbo, and I have a problem-solving skill. I'm also having the opportunity of emotional intelligence, understanding workforce, what really do they need, and how can I help them to ensure they perform and achieve the organizational objective.
Thank you so much, Esther. Thank you. I'd like to call Rita Babalola to go first, and then Ezine. Rita, are you available?
I am. Okay, thank you, Esther Taiwo. I want to say what you did very well first. Thank you. You started very well. Very insightful in terms of the 5 pillars of communication, conciseness, clarity on your first page. I fell in love with you on that first page because you showed us who you are, which was what we didn't see in the first person. That's the Omotola. But then when you were explaining, I got tired of you underselling yourself. Achievement of 2013, 2012 is good enough. But we're talking about what you're coming to bring to the stakeholders. I mean, you're bringing to the client. You were underselling yourself. With 15 years, I also did start HR from the beginning. My HR practice started sometimes in 2011 or so. But I had sales experience about 12 years or 14 years. So I expected you to move to what we call to action. This is the future. Let's look at what you're expecting. As a recruiter, what are you going to bring on board to my client? You failed to sell yourself and you were still performing or regaling yourself in your past achievement that you forgot the time. Most recruiters get tired of because the first few minutes, that hook statement, you had it. You started well, as I wrote down there, and you were trying to establish yourself as an authority, quite persuasive, and you were able to build emotional commitment with your soft tone. I was expecting more. The charisma, you started it, but then you got lost in the middle of the way. So I will want for you to focus on what is your wealth of experience going to bring to the organization you want to. And before the wrap up of time, you fail to establish that at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Ezine, please, you are the good call.
Thank you, Esther. Well done. Like Rita said, you started off, with the charisma, but along the line, these are my notes that I've said. I think that, going forward, you should practice the elevator pitch. You know how it is when you meet a Tony Elumelu in the elevator, you're going to be off in 2 minutes or 1 minute. Just tell him everything, why you should hire, boom, 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 boom. So I think that that's what you should take from this, that how can you sell yourself in 1 minute? Then for me, your deck, I put my notes were that I would have liked better formatting. If you were not talking and you send me this deck, I'll be like, because it was a little bit, it was all over the place. Some part of it was all over the place. I would have liked it to be, better arranged and more, a bit more explanatory. So versus your what you do versus your achievements. Yes, there were some of your achievements that could sell yourself into HR, but what you do, there was vagueness there. When we talk about pivoting, right, you have what we call transferable skills because you highlighted it. Based on your achievements, you have that L&D training skills, you have the employee relation skills, but you need to be able to reflect it in what you currently do so that people can see that, oh, okay, based on this, you have the strong enough transferable skills to position yourself as a HR professional. And then when you were talking about emotional intelligence, I remember that was a comment for the first contestant, Omotola. We need to hear evidence. It's not just enough to say you have what are the demonstrable things, what are the things that actually happened, what was the exact context in which you showed them demonstrated emotional intelligence. Those are the things that we would like to see. But well done. You did okay. So well done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Victor, any quick positive?
Okay, I would just like to add that, of course, you like to take your time. If you were my teacher in school, I would have all the A's because, you want to just layer and layer, which is really beautiful. However, like we've all said, it's very different when you are trying to sell yourself. It has to be very quick. I will just say 2 things. So there should be a lot of emphasis on what can you do in 2026? What can you do? From the standpoint of the management, what can you do to help the organization better, and also on the people side. So I understand that you are transitioning, but you want to say, how can you help the company? How can you bring a lot more to the people side of things and sell this some more? And it will be a better presentation. Finally, just to reiterate, Ezinne, the deck can be better. If I send some documents to Dr. Adeosun, he will review them almost 5 times, and we keep, so it's just continuous learning. So just pay attention to that, and it can be better. Thank you very much. Well done, Esther.
Thank you so much, Esther. Esther, please stay on the last slide should be where your contact is, not thank you. Okay, now I just have a few comments. First and foremost, let me say that when I saw your interest and application for this program, I felt very humbled. And you are the kind of person I will hire. Many people who have experience have pride. You don't have. You are humble. At your age and your professional experience and dexterity, you still have the humility to come and join this program and subject yourself to this scheme. That is commendable. If there's anybody on this call who needs somebody who is a team player, who is not ashamed to learn or be vulnerable, Esther Taiwo is your go-to person. I must say that. Thank you so much. I am so proud of you, and you did exceedingly well. You can please take down your slide right now. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is an elevator type thing. It's not every time in real life you have opportunity to interview for 1 hour or 2 hours. 5 minutes is enough to showcase what you have got. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call on the third contestant that is available on this call. I'm looking for the third contestant. Okay, I'm trying to check through. Can you unmute and speak? Fantastic. I can see she's proactive. Just before Deborah starts speaking, Deborah, please, I hope your camera is also on. Let me just quickly recognize and appreciate 1 or 2 more people. I'll keep doing that throughout this program. I see Uncle K from Ibadan. Thank you for joining. We do not take your presence on this platform for granted at all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to see if there's any other person I would like to quickly give a shout out right now. But of course, I'll come back to that. I also want to celebrate Irene Obagu. I think I mentioned her earlier. Deborah, if you are ready, you are ready. Your 5 minutes or 7 minutes starts now. Over to you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Etiaka Deborah Ele. I am a data-driven HR professional with a proven track record in optimizing the employee life cycle and a passion for when I say the engine room, I mean the HR department. I see the engine room for performance. I specialize in solving recruitment bottleneck, onboarding friction, and mitigating risk by carrying out checks and employee benefit administration. My goal is to transform my goal is to use my skill and my training that I've gained so far to transform HR operations into a high performance driver for any organization that I work in. For education and certification, I have a BSc in economics. I have certificates in human resource management and customer relationship management from Alpha Consulting Services, and I'm also an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management Nigeria in VIEW. Many organizations see the HR department as earlier, I see it as the engine for driving performance in an organization. And currently, where I work in as HR executive, I have been able to achieve something measurable success. Some of the things I've been able to achieve on this my current role 2020 and new hire by implementing a structured 30, 60, 90 days onboarding framework. When I joined the company in 2024, there was no onboarding structure in place. So the first reason that I had in the organization, I developed a framework approved, and I've been using that to work since then. I've also strategically revamped the new joiners orientation program, reducing its cost by 40% and duration by 40%. So when I joined, also the orientation program was for 5 days, and it was costing a lot running it for that 5 days. And I looked at the document, I looked at the process, and I saw that we can do this program in 3 days, reducing the cost while we still maintain the essential learning objectives and scheduled activities for the program. So I proposed to my manager and the management, and it was approved for 3 days. And the program has been very effective ever since then. I have also streamlined onboarding pipeline by updating all new joiners onboarding documents. Yeah, so when I joined before I reduced the orientation program to 3 days, I went through all the onboarding documents, and I saw some things that I could improve upon there, which I also presented to my manager. She told me to do what I have to do, which I did, and it was approved. I have also eliminated a significant backlog of employee probation in the organization by auditing records and issuing confirmation letters for overdue staff. When I joined also, there was a backlog of confirmation letters that have not been issued from like 2022, from 2020 actually. So I started by bringing out the list of these overdue employees. I prepared their letters, took it up for signing, and then I issued out. I was able to carry out this task within 3 months of joining the organization. I also was able to achieve 90% data completion for employees for pension, tax, and NSITF. Uh, we had a lot of employees that were not paying their pension, were not paying their tax because we didn't have their details. I took it upon myself as a project to follow up with these employees, get their details, and send them to the C&B manager to remit their tax, their pension, and their NSITF benefits. I also worked with my teammates to revamp the SOP for new hire home address verification and design a standardized previous employer reference check and personal reference check. When I joined, the company was only carrying out home address verification. I developed the form for the previous employer reference check, and okay, they had a personal reference check, which I later proposed, and we made it a professional reference check. And I carry out this process, the end to end, with a task force officer who does the home address verification for me. So these are some of the achievements I've had so far on my current role at Orange Groups. Prior to this, during NYC, I worked as economics teacher, and prior to my undergraduate study in 2017, I worked as an office assistant at Moboj Enterprises Limited. As a professional, as a HR professional, my core competence includes HR operations, where we have talent sourcing and recruitment, onboarding, offboarding, benefits administration, and so on. Compliance, like I said, I carry out the end-to-end background check and all the types of check, all the verifications for new hires in my organization. When it comes to technical skills, I'm also very proficient with ATS, HIRS, and Microsoft Office proficiency, as well as data analysis too. I did a program or a training in data analysis, but I didn't get a certificate. That is why I did not include it on my certifications. But I have very good knowledge of data analysis, and I've been using that to, analyze employee surveys and feedbacks from my orientation program, for my onboarding programs, and the feedback I've been using to, present to management to make decisions that will benefit both the employees and the organization as a whole. I also have good interpersonal skills like stakeholder relationship building, conflict resolution, cultural sensitivity, and inclusivity. Also, part of the problems that I can solve and I have solved, even on my current role in Orange Group, is high time to fill, weak employer branding, onboarding friction, and risk mitigation. Why should you hire me? Yeah, so I am a data-driven HR. I believe data is the backbone of every decision that an organization make. When employers make decisions, they make it based on data, and therefore, I believe that to improve employee performance to achieve the organizational goal, you really need to make sure that you're getting the right data, using it to make informed decisions. So I believe so much in data. I'm a data HR and I have unmatched accuracy when it comes to data integrity and ensuring employee records and administrative workflows are error-free. And I'm a people-first communication person. I excel at managing stakeholders, providing to every employee and management. So in my organization, people always call me the HR last bone. I'm very popular with that name. And most times when employee have issues, they have inquiries, the first person they usually run to is me because like they always say you are the most friendly and the most approachable person.
Please kindly wrap up. Your time is out, Deborah. Wrap up, please. Kindly
Oh,
wrap up.
thank you.
Perhaps your last
Thank
page
you.
or something.
Yes, and I'm also I am in my current role as business support in Orange. I've mastered the essential engineering tasks like recruitment, onboarding, and therefore I'm looking forward to opportunities, to work as an HR generalist. I'm open to roles and opportunities as an HR generalist. And lastly, here's my contact details. If you like to contact me for mentorship, to mentor me, or to share opportunities with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Who is going first? Victor, you want to go first?
Okay. Well done, Deborah. So because data is like my own area, I would just like to say as much as you did all your presentation, it was a bit tacky. I couldn't hear if it was your network or something, but you weren't talking about tools because you were saying a lot of data driven, data driven. So if somebody who is interested in you as per data rules, we want to hear, so what tools can you use? What have you used them to do before? What was your success story? That was highly lacking as much as you sounded data, 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 and all that. If not, we would have to investigate and say, where's the data part of your HR? Yeah, other than that, I'll just keep that short. Great one. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
Ezine, please.
Hello, Deborah. So
Hi.
I know that I don't know if anybody was looking at my face, but I was smiling at your presentation from the start to the end. First of all, uh your deck was easy on the eyes. That was the first selling point for me. Like everything was nicely arranged. I could see it. Your confidence was shining through. You very confidently took us through every, your experience. And then you also showed that you're a person of action. There was a lot of, results. I did this, I did that, I did this, and it was evident from what you said. So, I was grinning, and I noticed the high agency in you because there was a part you said there were things you took upon yourself. So you were not waiting for tasks to be given to you. You took it upon yourself, right? So well done. These are great traits of, a professional. If I had the HR generalist role, I'd hire you in a heartbeat because I would see that you're going to be of great value, right? So well done, well done. In terms of, coming out for a HR generalist role, well done. I hear Victor on what he said, because when he said data, I was looking for it. But this thing about the halo effect. Once you've made a great first impression. So when we're talking about network, I was like, oh, that one was just going off my head because for me, I was already giving you stars up, 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 up. So well done. Keep it up and keep up the good work. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Izin.
All right, Rita Babalola, please.
Okay, Etiaka, well done. You did very well. That was a very good presentation, very impressionable. One thing that Victor said, you have to be very mindful of audio. Sometimes it's always good to have a backup. I can be here now and presenting, and then I just go off. Some of your presentations was actually lost. And I've seen people, and I'm not like going to mine's word. I've seen people lose opportunities, even as much as recent, just 2 to 3 weeks ago, because of this Wi-Fi thing, internet. When you don't have it, there are things that you can't control. That's basically it. Wi-Fi is internet is one of them, or data, and that's one of the things that we don't have control of. But so when the day you are making presentation is just to have like just to have a second data, because somebody also said something in the chat room that the audio is lost. I lost you for some moments. Then to your good points, honestly, aesthetic, I'll give you 8/10. I had read yours was the first presentation I saw on the group, and I fell in love with it. I'm going to give you a call later on. If you're one person that I want to speak with and see how far you'll go. I made mention of confidence the other time, confidence in this. Yeah, very excellent. You did very well. But then you also need to be mindful of your voice tone. You were losing me despite the fact that you were showing confidence. At a point in time, you have to be mindful of your voice tone, the voice pitch, the volume. It goes hand in hand. You have to know that there has to be a semblance of the same leverage, but that was lost in your presentation. Yeah, the first speaker, Omotola, I said, when you're talking about your achievement, the action points, you did very well. I'll give you 9/10 for that. You were confident, you
Thank you.
showcased the problem, you gave us the solution, and then the outcomes were quite visible. And I like the part where I said, when you're talking to recruiters, give them something to always remember you by. I can't miss the last born, the HR last born. That is a name. Even if I can't remember your name, I'll say that presenter that did and called herself HR last born, because the agility in you showed. Thank you very much for an excellent presentation. So I'll give you a call
Thank
after this, or probably on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That's from me. That's the hand from me, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be moving on to the next candidate, and her name is Esther Udoh. Esther Udoh, you have 5 to 7 minutes. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Esther. I don't know. My name is Esther Udoh. Yes, we are. Good evening, everybody. My name is Esther Udoh. I'm an HR and admin officer slash culture tech personnel. So some people say HR is a compliance office where you catch, people doing the wrong thing. I see HR as the engine of business success. So over the years, have worked in different companies, not just to manage the people, but also to build high performing culture by coaching the leadership on how to manage their people for long term retention. So I am an HND holder, um, currently running my CIPM certification exam with CIPM. I have administrative administrative skills lectures from different companies to enable me understand when it comes to administrative. Well, I'll just speak on three areas of my core values, which are communications, you have training, acquisition, culture, and retention. So I'll just speak on um, talent acquisition. So I do not just hire people, but I hire to add these culture traits to businesses, not just for growth, but also to bring in what the business needs, these ideas that business needs. So there was a time in my company, that's Cressida International, which is a logistics company. We had some drivers not having proper culture when it comes to dealing with customers, when it comes to meeting up with deadlines and all of that. What I did was to not just call meetings and try to educate them, give them proper orientations, but also map out some pictures, um, lessons of what they need to do and how they need to go about it. Aside from that, I I also deal with conflict. How do I resolve a conflict? There's a point when we had the staff rioting, right? And senior management came around and was like, you know what, Esther, you have to lay off 20 drivers plus their um, motor assistants. I had to look out for, okay, so if I take this action, what is going to happen in terms of law and what is written in the handbook, and also what is acceptable. Aside from that, so I had to go back to the table and tell them, you know what, from the arrangement so far, only five have actually offended enough that meet up the labor law that will not be fined. And I was able to save the 17 of them. I was able to save 17 of them. All the motor boys were all new, so they had no issues in their files. And I was able to save all of those people. And not just that, give them a warning and write to those five who actually faulted not just once, not twice. And I met with their managers to see how best we can, you know, give them proper orientation such that they won't feel like, oh, that's the end of the road for them. So aside from that, I also handle when it comes to having a wonderful culture. It's not just about sweets, but people being seen and being noticed for their good jobs. I throw
Please,
out
please begin to round up, Esther. You have a minute more. Please begin to round up. Thank you.
thank you. I also ensure that they have, you know thank God it's Friday sections where everybody gets to relax and speak up on the things they want to do or what they are, having issues with, and everyone can share ideas. This actually help people to engage more. Aside from that, I've worked in different places. You have here Cressida International as HR and admin officer. I've worked as secretary and admin as well. Warehousing, but aside that, what are my skills? Um, Over the years, I've actually been able to help organization grow and the people to meet up the business by working actively and meeting up and also staying in the company for a longer time by creating good values for them. Why should I be hired? I'm not just I do not just have a strong alignment to roles like talent acquisition, culture and people management, or conflict resolution. I, tend to recruit people or build strong culture through recruiting people that add value to the culture of the environment. I also I have extensive hands-on experience when it comes to HR and administrative. I'm also open to HR generalist role, talent acquisition, people management and culture. And here are my contacts. I would like to close by saying that I'm not just here to just manage people, but also help people meet up and match up with business goals and have better understanding of businesses to build it to the heights. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Rita, you can go first, please.
Okay, Esther, thank you so much. I love the fact that you have a very good command of the English language. And that means that I was expecting more from you in terms of confidence. Yes, you have it, but you need to be mindful of feelers. Your word feelers were just too much for me to handle. So you lost me completely during your presentation. Probably sometimes Providence also tells us to postpone some things when the energy, when the tone is not right. I think at this moment, you didn't sell yourself very well. I think you have more experience than the other lady. I can't remember Etiaka right now, but the way you kept on emphasizing on um um I was losing concentration, and honestly I don't have much to say apart from that. You should improve in your disposition, especially when you're making presentation. There were just too many words fillers. You came up with the right confidence. You have it, no doubt about it. You have the articulation, no doubt about it. That is very, very good. But then, in terms of engagement, inspiring me to listen more, for me personally, you lost me there. And then, when you're talking about presentation, remember your slide also has to go with what you're saying. So, with the back and forth, kept on like I didn't really know what you were saying again, which slide was which, you understand? So, sometimes Providence has also told us that maybe this is not your day to make the presentation. So sometimes we just need to listen to instincts and just move on. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm grateful.
SNA, please. Our good call.
Hello, Esther.
Hello.
So yeah, I first of all, like Rita said, I like your diction. Your diction was what caught me, at first. I was like, okay. But then you started and it was like the voice, I mean, the way it was like we were having a casual conversation versus us having a pitch. We're in a pitch and we're like boom, 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 boom. So we need to hear what you have to say and say it fast. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that was that. I hear Rita on the Providence thing. Me, on the other hand, I was thinking I like your resilience because there were so many things that were going against you, stop and start. You still kept on with it, you were smiling through it. But hey, like Rita said, maybe Providence was telling you that today was not your day. So when I saw the cultural architect thing, it's very nice to have these nice and fancy names, right? But we need to be able to prove those things, those titles that we put, yeah? Because I was waiting for you to prove to me, yes, your first example when you talked about bringing in call, there was something you talked about. Yeah, I was getting into it, but then you dropped off somewhere because it felt like that was the major example you had, but you were trying to fill in, and then you were giving examples that were not hitting the mark. Because when you talked about conflict resolution, I was like, that example you gave was not a conflict resolution. So anybody that didn't listen to you well, it was like you were just trying to fill the space with things. Yeah. So I would just like, and then there was something you said, good values. I was like, I put my notes, I said vague. So I think you need to go back, not I think, please go back and practice, because it showed to us that you didn't really practice, this well enough. I mean, you did well. There are people that ran away. You showed your face, right? But it's an opportunity for you to take notes and please go back and improve on your slides, on everything, speaking through them, and on your pitch deck. I will emphasize, just time yourself in your head and even time yourself within 3 minutes and push the message across, because you didn't convince me why we should hire you. But I mean, well done for the attempt.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Victor, Agu.
Okay. Thank you very much again, Esther, for showing up. I would like to commend the fact that even though you should work on your internet, I mean, you were able to, like Izzy said, keep the pressure very minimal. My first HR mentorship webinar, like 5 7 minutes, MTN and Blue Network went away, and I was sweating and panting heavily. I think you were just smiling, and so it shows a lot about how you handle pressure. Um, for your presentation, I would just say it was good, but it can be better. The fact
Yeah.
that you did a lot of talking about activities and activities. I just like to hear what were the results, what did you do, what was the outcome of that. I think you should just focus so much more on results, right? Results, so that you don't keep it boring. Because it was at some point, like everybody has said, there was a struggle in trying to articulate everything together to get the very, very big thing. If we're speaking to 5 persons, what would be the thing I'll remember about Esther? I may not be able to pinpoint that one thing that I will leave here with. So it's something that we should work on. And my final comment would be that at least 2 of us, I will be reaching out to get our CVs as well. I already told Doctor that there are some open rules. And like he has said, some persons would have opportunities. By God's grace, we wish us all the best. I would ask for your CVs after this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much, Esther. Again, I like your resilience. I like how you were able to come back. I like how you stayed the course. And that's a trait you need to survive in Nigeria and Africa, because at the workplace, many things will go wrong. Insufficient cash flow, production shortages, and so on and so forth. It's the HR that has the staying power that pulls through. To the glory of God, one of the reasons I'm still standing here and in front of people like you is not because I'm the best. It's because I didn't give up. It's because I kept pushing and pushing. All right. I can say this. I can hire everybody that came out here today. Very few people have the capacity, the courage to come to a live program that is being recorded and will be on YouTube and pitch. You are already in a class of your own. And I'm so proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this intersection, I would like to ask from the panelists general comments. Now, don't specify, don't, aim at any of the candidates by name or in person, but general feedback based on the contestants, participants today, and then based on your real life interview of HR professionals. And we'll also be extending opportunity to anybody and everybody on this call, if you like to just provide, of course, without duplicating what has been said so far, or what anybody would say, maybe tips, quick, brief tips for note. We are talking to HR professionals trying to change their job, either internally or externally. Sometimes internally you need to apply for roles. All right. So please, if you'd like to say something, raise your hands. I don't want to call, but raise your hands and I will call on you guys. Let me start with Ezine. Any general comments, specific comments as a mentor? We want people to excel.
Okay. First of all, well done to everyone that did this. We can see that, it's not a small thing. It's no small feat, right? For you to come in front of people. But the way I look at it is like, it's an amazing opportunity. Some of us didn't have this opportunity. So I'm like, wow, you have an opportunity. It's almost like a reality show. You come on the reality show to come and sing, right? So it's an amazing opportunity. It just helps you to hone your skills, but you're in-house with we, so you have that opportunity. I would just say, and I will reemphasize this pitch elevator pitch deck thing. Please practice. Even some of us that speak, right? Before we come out to talk, we practice, we time ourselves. Do it like Dr. Yemi said, do it with your friends, do it with your family. I sit in front of my mirror and it's like, am I going crazy? But yeah, I'm practicing, because I want to see my cues, everything. Even when we do facilitations, I go back and watch and say, isn't it this thing you should improve on this? So please practice your deck, your pitch. Make sure you time yourself to 3 minutes or 4 so that you know that, okay, wherever I meet, even if I meet someone on the street, I can sell myself, right? And then please also, I'm a stickler, I'm a sucker for formatting. Whether it's your deck, whether it's your CV, because your CV and your deck, make sure that everything looks nice, easy on the eyes. You properly put things together. It doesn't matter how many years you've been in HR. That is your brand. So make sure that your brand represents itself. That speaks first for you before you even start to open your mouth to speak. Yeah. But well done to everyone that participated in this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I would also like to quickly, before I call on Rita or Victor, I'd like to celebrate one of our seniors in the house, HR veterans, Mrs. Olamide Olabiro, who is the HR Director with the Nigerian Institute of Management and former Chairman of CIPM Ikeja chapter. Thank you so much for joining this session. We recognize you and we don't take your presence for granted. We like the encouragement. All right, let's take general comments from Rita Babalola, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Adeosho, and to every one of you right here today. I want to say kudos to the participants. Just like what Izine said, it's not easy to come before the audience and then putting yourself on fire there and knowing people can critique you. Sometimes we don't take feedback very well, and it's given. So sometimes you can be humble. Like the first, I won't call names, like having certain things against you, they're still showing forth. But life can be very unfair. And because I do recruiting a lot, internet is key. You must have it as an alternative. I've seen where I felt that candidates were not given a fair hearing because maybe at the drop of the moment something happened and you're in the course of the interview. And because they are senior executives that you are meeting, it's a panel. You may have the MD, you're wasting their time. They won't tell you to stay off and everything, but you can always ask for another time, a rescheduling. I think most Nigerians are fond of that. You want to manage the situation. Yeah, it shows resilience to you, but to executive time, you're wasting their time. They'll tell you they could have done something else. So you coming up, and then sometimes the brand, the name, remember that it will be remembered, and you just lose the opportunity. So why just not ask for a reschedule? Between us, you can be looking at it that it's just a mere, I'm just showing forth. But to other people that have managed their time and schedule, they start in there for maybe an hour, and out of it, you were scheduled for 15 minutes, and you've wasted 10 minutes of their time. Do you think the other people will like it? So we have to be mindful of having internet or data availability. You must have a second alternative. Then the other one, practice makes permanent. Even for myself, doing training, I do a lot of dry runs. You must keep on improving. You just don't assume that you can talk and introduce yourself very well. Sometimes it's been ingrained in me because I worked in a bank, and sometimes up till now, when I'm trying to introduce myself, I still call my name is Rita Babalola. I'll still mention the name of the bank because it's a cultural thing. You must practice pitching. How do you introduce yourself in the next 15 seconds? You don't have any opportunity. And be careful of the title we drop. Those times, sometimes I just want to play candidate sometimes, and I just want to start, and I start with what you have on your resume and come and see confusion. By the time you start picking up those words that you have used, that means some of us don't read those lexicons. We just see them on AI and put them on. Okay, give me examples of this, something to showcase what you have written, that you have done, and then you begin to have word filler. So we need to be careful. It is not about the number of things that you have done. And sometimes I always tell people, if you keep your resume up to 2 or 3, it doesn't have to be 5 pages of what JDs. It is not about job description, it's about impact and achievement. So let's remember that. And when you have the opportunity to sell yourself in a pitch, try to practice pitching, tone, the voice strength, so that you don't cut away in between. You start with high decibel, and then you get in the middle, you are doing low level, and then they begin to ask you, can you speak up? Can you speak out? Please, let's be careful about that. And then you can never afford pitching. Please learn to pitch in front of a mirror, learn to pitch in front of your friends, colleagues, or your spouses. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your feedback. Before I call Victor, just so you know, I like to call Ajoke Omotayo. I like you to say a few things. Dayo Adebayo, I like you to say a few things. If you don't mind, Tuchukwuime, a few things. Titi Lokpe, Kola Deyola, a few things. And any other person on this call would like to say something, please. Victor, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. So I would say 2 things just to build on what Madam Rita has said. First would be, please, let's document our progress. A lot of us are doing so much that we don't remember. This is how you know. So for those of us that we do maybe Friday stand-up or something, whatever, if you work remotely and they'll say, come and tell us what you've done for the week. Even though you have worked your head out, you start stuttering. It's not because of anything. You have forgotten that one time you were facilitating something, you were closing something, and all. You just forgot. So it would not be a bad idea to document your progress so that when you have the opportunity to talk about them, you will not be looking from all over. So documentation is very important. The second thing would be, again, just like Madam Rita said, impact and achievements. We cannot sleep on that. It always works. And one good thing to do is, oh, I'm here today. Look at doctor, see all that he has done. What do I think doctor has done? He did not wake up today and then he became doctor. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And we could see a lot of this. I'm not going to mention names, but you look at some CVs, you've seen an MBA. Do you have an MBA? You've seen one particular thing. Do you have it? But you want to grow. All right. So this is the kind of conversation where you're able to gather. When doctor speaks about Toastmasters and some things, I'm like, okay, I've heard this. Some of us will go and run and research. Okay, what's the benefit of that? So that's something we can do for our building, and then we just get better. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you so much, Victor. Let me see. Who is speaking next? Dayo, are you available to speak? Ajoke, are you speaking?
I will speak, boss. Good evening, doctor. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, ma'am.
First of all, I want to leverage on what all the esteemed panelists have said in appreciating the people that came up for this particular pitch. I was also impressed because I know that it was not compulsory. It was a choice that they took, and I believe that the feedback will serve them very well in going forward in their career.
Is it my network or Ajoke's network?
I think it's from her.
Okay, because I can't hear her. It's like Port Harcourt network is better than Lagos network. Okay. Anyway, what do you expect when we have Sim as governor? Network go good. All right. Hopefully she can come back. Tochukwu, I'd like you to speak, please. At least represent the male constituency that didn't go and watch football.
Thank you, Doc. Good evening, everyone. A great evening to the contestants. You showed great resilience, and I believe you sold yourself perfectly. There is never a better way of putting it. It's your first attempt, and also the first one for HR mentorship. So we are very certain that this would be the very foundation of many great things to come. I encourage you to watch yourself again after now when it is uploaded on YouTube, to see some things that you could have done better, because the best advice is the advice you give yourself. Having said that, I would encourage every one of us to learn to sell ourselves, because at the end of the day, it is not just what we do. We have a lot of capability, but if we don't know how to package it and sell ourselves, then it becomes difficult to show what we are doing. I have, in one of the groups, I was just chatting with some colleagues, and I said, recently I joined a group called the Toastmasters in case you want to improve on your speaking, public speaking skills and all that. You might want to look out for such groups to join. There are some reading clubs. We even have one in HR mentorship. Join, read. The more information you have in your mind, the easier it is for you to vocalize what you have in your mind. So never stop learning. Keep doing your best. Take all the advice that colleagues here have shared, but more importantly, keep learning. For the people that spoke about data analytics, I think I got hooked on that because it's an area of interest for me as well. So please do more on some of those tools. Expand, not just know how to use one tool, learn how to use 2 or more tools as you continue to grow. I wish every one of you the very best. See you at the top. Thank you, Prof, for this opportunity given to us and to everyone who competed today. All the best.
Thank you so much. So I would like to say this very quickly as we wrap up in the next 2 or 3 minutes, that if you have a job interview, especially a high-stake job interview, please, and you need somebody to run a mock session with you, either on the phone or on Zoom, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, call me. I will schedule. Note, be prepared. The mock interview will be like 9 or 10 at night, not during the day. I hope you get it. Just in case you claim you don't have any senior people around you, call me. Or if you want a woman, Ezene Obiora, call her. If you don't have a number, reach me. She's my friend. She owes me permanently, just like I owe her permanently. And then Rita Babalola or Victor Agu, or any HR leader that you know and you have relationship with. Please don't go for a high-stake interview without doing a proper mock. That is why we put this thing together, that let's have a situation. I'm sure a few people will say, oh, the HR panelists, maybe we were too tough, we were not very friendly. Look, The real world out there is tough. Nobody owes you to be friendly out there. Yes, please be friendly, but that's why we did it this way, to toughen you up. It's better you make a mistake here and get it right there. So you have an interview, you need someone at executive C level, please reach out to me, reach out to Ezine Obiora, reach out to Rita Babalola. We are here for you. Rita Babalola, you have the floor, ma.
Yes, and I wanted to say something just to share personal experience. There's a guy I met some time ago, probably about 10 years ago, and he knows I'm in HR, and during the course of work, he knows I do resume stuff, and he reached out to me about resume revamping. Honestly, I hardly do it again because it's very tough. It takes an average of 2 weeks. But it kept on. That persistency part of Rita, you must do it for me. And this is a job in Australia. In Nigeria, he's in Nigeria. They saw his resume on they saw his LinkedIn profile, then reach out to him. He knew it was an executive job. But the thing there is sometimes some of us, when we reach out to people and you don't get that response, we feel entitled that, oh, they don't want to help me. But sometimes you just need to be resilient about it. We got to the point that I had by force, when somebody is knocking on your door, just like in the case of the Bible, that when you, they went to the judge house and you kept on knocking, I had to rescind my decision, worked on his resume. Eventually, he got the job. After getting the job, it was not salary negotiation. Honestly, it took me 1 week to be able to attend to that guy. And this is a job about $150,000 because it's one thing to have the skill. It's one thing to pass the interview. It's also one thing to be able to get the pay that you'd want. This is somebody with less than $40,000. Gone in for a pay of $150,000. What is at stake? Just like what you said, interview coaching, sometimes we need to do it. You just don't assume that you've done well in the other stages. You just want to go for the next one. Sometimes it takes more than a pitch. It takes you dedicating some hours, some minutes to be able to learn how to resell yourself. That is the value. And for some of us, it is just to sell. No, it is to make impact and let them remember you by. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a very beautiful session. I must say that for 2026, this session has had the highest life attendance for 2026. It shows the potential, it shows the capacity, and it shows the visibility that we have. Rejoice, your hands are up. Please.
Yes, I wanted to ask a question. Actually,
Please,
today is, can you hear me?
Live and direct, Rejoice.
Okay, sir. I saw the advert on Facebook, though I'm not a HR. I'm into executive assistant, but then I'm interested in switching to HR. So when I saw the advert, I was like,
There's a
wow, I
phone
want
number.
to.
There's a phone number in the chat box. Please send a WhatsApp message to that phone number.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much, Rejoice. As in any closing remarks?
So I would like I put in the comment section. Please, kudos to the ladies, HR ladies. I saw the comments going on. Where are our men? What happened? Kudos to the ladies. You took the bull by the horn. We're getting into Women's International Women's Day. So well done. I'm proud of you. But I mean, fantastic first pioneer session. It was really great. You don't understand. I don't think you would understand the level of impact that this will make until you go into, you improve on yourself based on the feedback. And then you now walk into interview rooms or you have to be in conversations where you pitch yourself. You will now see that, wow, these things that, actually work. So thank you to everyone that participated. And thank you to Doctor for giving us the platform and privilege to do this, to be part of making a difference in people's lives. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. We'll have another session like this next month. If you're interested in participating in showcasing your talents in terms of HR, please do reach out to me or any of the other persons on this call. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to celebrate everybody who joined this call session live. My name is Uluyemi Adeosun, and the YouTube channel is Uluyemi Adeosun. Please share, like, and subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a beautiful outing. We'll see you very soon. Good night and God bless.